If this speaks to your heart, hit subscribe and walk with us in His truth. Isaiah 43:19, God is doing a new thing. What if the season you thought was over is actually where God starts something new? There are moments in life when everything feels dry. Dreams feel delayed. Prayers feel unanswered. Doors feel permanently closed. You look around and all you see is wilderness. That's exactly where Israel found themselves when God spoke through the prophet Isaiah. They had known defeat, exile, loss. Everything familiar had been stripped away. The past felt heavy. But then God interrupted their despair with a promise. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up, do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Isaiah 43:19. Notice something powerful. God didn't say, I will do a new thing someday. He said, I am doing a new thing. Present tense. While they were still in exile. While they were still hurting. While the wilderness still surrounded them. Sometimes we think God only works after the breakthrough. But often, He is working right in the middle of the wilderness. A wilderness is uncomfortable. It's uncertain. It feels barren. There are no clear roads. No obvious signs. Just endless stretches of what looks like nothing. But God specializes in nothing. He created light out of darkness. He formed life from dust. He parted seas that looked impossible to cross. And here He promises something radical. I am making a way in the wilderness. A way means direction. Movement. Progress. Even when you can't see it. Have you ever walked through a season where you felt forgotten? Where you questioned whether your prayers were even heard? God's question echoes through this verse, do you not perceive it? In other words, can you see what I'm doing beneath the surface? Because new things don't always begin loudly. Sometimes they start as a small shift in your spirit. A new desire. A fresh peace. A door you didn't expect. A strength you didn't know you had. A seed doesn't look impressive when it's buried underground. But buried doesn't mean dead. Buried means planted. And planted things grow. God didn't just promise a way in the wilderness. He promised streams in the wasteland. Streams mean life. Refreshment. Provision. In a desert, water changes everything. What looked lifeless suddenly blooms. What seemed impossible suddenly thrives. And that's what God does, He brings life into places you thought were permanently dry. Maybe your wilderness is financial pressure. Maybe it's heartbreak. Maybe it's waiting for a promise that feels delayed. Maybe it's rebuilding after failure. Whatever it is, Isaiah 43:19 is not just poetry. It's a declaration. God is not limited by your landscape. He doesn't need perfect conditions to move. He doesn't need ideal timing. He doesn't wait for circumstances to improve before He starts working. He creates rivers in deserts. He carves roads where there were none. And sometimes the new thing isn't a new job or a new relationship. Sometimes the new thing is a new you. A stronger you. A wiser you. A more faithful you. Because wilderness seasons refine us. They stretch our trust. They teach us dependence. And when the stream finally flows, we recognize it as grace. God says, see. That word matters. Because when you're focused on what ended, you can miss what's beginning. When you're grieving what you lost, you might overlook what's growing. God is inviting you to shift your vision. Not to deny the desert, but to expect the river. And here's the beauty of it. When God says it will spring up, it means suddenly. New growth doesn't ask for permission from the past. It rises. Unexpectedly. Powerfully. Undeniably. One day it looks barren. The next day there's green breaking through the soil. That's how God works. You may not see the roots forming. You may not hear the underground water moving. But heaven is active even when earth feels silent. So if you're in a wilderness season right now, don't mistake silence for absence. Don't confuse delay with denial. And don't assume dryness means destiny. God is doing something. Right now. Even if it's beneath the surface. Even if it's slow. Even if it doesn't look like what you expected. The same God who made a path through the Red Sea. The same God who sustained His people in the desert. The same God who raised the broken and restored the exiled. Is still making ways. Still creating streams. Still bringing new beginnings. So lift your eyes. Shift your focus. And dare to believe that this is not the end of your story. Because the wilderness is not your final destination. It's the birthplace of your next chapter. See, I am doing a new thing. It's already springing up. Can you perceive it? If this blessed you, please subscribe for more Bible truth.